After you voted, the choice for this video was made: Bosnia. Today, the flag of Bosnia looks like this: blue with a yellow triangle and a number of white stars. We will see why two of them are halved later on. But as usual, the flag of Bosnia didn't always look like this, changing throughout history and shifting depending on which type of ruler they had, which empire they belonged to, or which regime was in place. So in this video, we're going to talk about the history and meaning of the flag of Bosnia. As we've established in previous videos, the earliest forms of countries in Europe or even in the world didn't really use flags. They used symbols, either related to their rulers or their religion, or sometimes both. Eventually, these symbols became symbols of an entire territory or nation, being carried by soldiers in war and later flown at sea by the country's ships. One of the earliest versions of Bosnia as a nation was a medieval polity of the Byzantine Empire, existing from the 7th century to 1154. And while not having a specific flag, except maybe a Byzantine Empire one, they did use a specific symbol, one that is present throughout Bosnian history, and we can see it carved into this tombstone from those days: the Bosnian golden lily, very similar if not identical to the French fleur-de-lis. In 1154, the Bosnian state evolved and became no longer under Byzantine rule, but rather a part of the Kingdom of Hungary. This was the Banat of Bosnia. Despite being technically part of Hungary, it was a de facto independent state within it, with this independence being achieved by a ruler named Kulin, one of the most notable historic figures of Bosnia. There was no local flag, but there was a coat of arms. This one. Other than the ornaments, we should focus on the shield, blue with a white diagonal stripe. I assume it came into existence as the coat of arms of one of the ruling families at the time, and it seems to be the first point in Bosniak history where blue and white are used as the nation's colors. In 1377, the Ban became a kingdom, with King, and I have no idea how to say this name, Tvrtko I. Now, the Tvrtko seal used different symbols than those we associate with Bosnia today. Here we see a simple knight on a horse. However, in a coin from the time, we can see the presence of an important symbol, the Bosnian fleur-de-lis. And while the seal was different, the coat of arms seems the same, with a shield carrying a diagonal stripe in it. It's not very clear in this picture, but I also found this recreation of it. The blue field was filled with 6 golden fleur-de-lis, with the white stripe also having a few extra ornaments on it. The kingdom under this form existed until 1463, and it was during this period that we can identify a first actual flag for Bosnia, or at least a banner if you will, copying the design of the coat of arms and displayed in a vertical rectangular shape. The kingdom was thriving at this point and expanding its territory for a while, but then came the Ottomans, and in 1463 the kingdom came to an end, and Bosnia was put under Ottoman rule for a few centuries. The territory was divided in 2 areas of Ottoman administration as part of their empire: the Sanjak of Bosnia and the Duchy of Saint Sava, which soon after became the Sanjak of Herzegovina. If I'm being honest with you, Ottoman rule of Bosnia and Herzegovina was just a mess, at least from the point of view of historical records and how they organized their territory, from condominiums to Sanjaks to eyalets. It just went back and forth so much that it's incredibly confusing, reaching the point of records of overlapping forms of territorial organization. So, in an effort to keep us from getting too lost in history and dates that aren't really relevant for us here, let's sum it up. From the 15th to the 19th century, Bosnia and Herzegovina were under Ottoman rule. They used various flags, either the general Ottoman one or variations of it using the same symbols, like these 2 green flags, or an adaptation of one of them which was briefly used by a short-lived Bosniak revolting independent state. The Ottomans were always in a state of conflict with Austria and Hungary for the control of the Balkans, and an example of that is what happened with Bosnia. In 1878, Austria and Hungary occupied a territory, or at least a big part of it, and ruled over it as the Condominium of Bosnia-Herzegovina. The flag was a horizontal bicolor of red and yellow, although this was then reserved for Bosnia alone, while Herzegovina used an inverted one of yellow and red. And the coat of arms was this one, with a pale yellow field and an arm wearing red and carrying a curved sword. This symbol was present since at least the 1600s in the flag, which represented the territory of Bosnia for the Hungarians, and they called it Rama. So the idea that I get is that this flag just represented Austro-Hungarian rule, just like the previous ones represented Ottoman rule, and the true banners and symbols of Bosnia as a nation were suppressed during these periods of foreign occupation and belonging to other empires. The territories remained under Austrian-Hungarian rule, using these flags plus their imperial banners as well until the end of World War I. And in 1918, Bosnia became part of the state of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs, a political entity constituted by the residents of the southernmost parts of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But its tricolor flag and somewhat strange coat of arms only lasted for 53 days before joining the Kingdom of Serbia and forming the new Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, using an inverted tricolor but with the same blue, white, and red. Eventually, this kingdom transformed itself into Yugoslavia. Under Yugoslav rule, Bosnia flew more than one flag. First, the tricolor we just saw, and then adding a red and yellow star to it once Yugoslavia stopped being a kingdom and became a socialist state. Their coat of arms also changed when the regime transformed itself. Yugoslavia was organized into 6 socialist republics. One of them was the Socialist Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and their flag was a plain red flag with the national banner on the top left, while the local coat of arms was just a traditional socialist one without any national symbols. In 1992, Yugoslavia was dissolved, and its member states regained independence. And so, that same year, the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina was created. The coat of arms of the kingdom was recovered and placed on a plain white flag, which was flown to symbolize the return of their sovereignty. Having recovered independence, the flag was changed in 1998 to the current version that we know today. Apparently, the reason for the change was the presence of other peoples other than the Bosniaks in the territory, which felt like this flag only represented Bosnia and not the other nationalities present in the country. And so, this is it. The flag of Bosnia, a blue field with a yellow isosceles triangle and a number of white stars. The white stars are said to represent Europe, and they are meant to be infinite in number, which is why 2 of them are only shown in half. The white color seems to be because it is a historical color of Bosnia since its earliest form. The triangle, some say, represent, through its 3 points, the 3 peoples which make up the nation: the Bosniaks, the Croats, and the Serbs. The blue is, as we've seen, also a historical color of Bosnia, being present since the earliest versions of the coat of arms and banners, and the yellow/golden as well, being present in the initial fleur-de-lis symbols. A fun fact is that originally the blue tone was to match that of the UN flag, but it was later changed to a darker blue to correspond to the flag of the European Union. There were various proposals which were never adopted, like this green, blue, and red one in the style of Czechia, this one with an olive branch, this one maintaining the tricolor and adding the country's shape to it, or this strange striped one which actually looks pretty cool. Inside Bosnia, some local flags are used. Apparently, Bosnia is divided into various cantons, with each of them having their own flag, like the flag of the Unasana canton, which on the shield has some of the symbols we previously saw on the Kingdom of Yugoslavia's coat of arms, or the flag of the Podrinje canton, which uses the national colors as well as the historical fleur-de-lis symbol. The coat of arms today is simply the pattern of the flag in shield form, but as we saw, it also changed a lot throughout history, from the traditional Kingdom of Bosnia to the occupation regimes of the Ottomans and the Hungarians. Summing up, the flag of Bosnia began as a representation of the ruler's coat of arms, a blue shield with a white stripe, which then had the golden fleur-de-lis added to it. It was then, under Ottoman rule, flying green flags with the Ottoman symbols of the crescent and star in white or yellow. Under Austro-Hungarian rule, their flag was a horizontal bicolor of red and yellow, sometimes displaying the Hungarian coat of arms for the region. Then came Yugoslav times, first with the blue, white and red tricolor, and then with a plain red flag and Yugoslav banner on the top left. With restored independence, the monarchy coat of arms was displayed on a plain white flag, then being changed to the current version to represent modern Bosnia as well as its many peoples. So that is a brief look at the history and meaning of the flag of Bosnia, as well as its various coat of arms, how it was created, emerging through the usage of various colors and symbols throughout the nation's long history, going through periods of foreign occupation during which outside flags flew over the land, but eventually recovering their sovereignty and the original symbols and colors, which represent their history and independence. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you notice any mistakes or have any additional information, make sure to leave a comment below and subscribe if you want to catch future videos. This is the last video of 2019 since next week's will already be after New Year Day, and I just want to take a quick second to thank all of you for how great this year was on the channel. We grew from around 30,000 to 150,000 subscribers, and it really means a lot to me that so many of you tune in every week to watch a new video. I hope we grow even more in 2020, and I will do my best to keep improving the quality of the videos. Thanks again for watching this one, and I will see you next time for more general knowledge.